What is happening in Gaza now is a genocide, and we shouldn't mince words. A population of more than 2 million people is being systematically bombed, murdered, starved, deprived of medical care, and driven from their homes. Each day, there are new atrocities, new war crimes. This week, the bombing of the Jabalia refugee camp for 3 days in a row, again today, has killed nearly 200 people. Today, IDF planes carried out another bombing of a refugee camp. The camp was located in the south of the evacuation line. They claim that if people leave the north, they'll be safe in the south. It's a lie. They're bombing in the south too. The Israeli military targeted a UN school that is housing thousands of refugees and children, including many orphans, using white phosphorus weapons that are illegal under international law. The death toll is now over 9,000, including 3,700 children, 2,300 women. Every 10 minutes, a child in Palestine is murdered. Since October 7th, more than 25,000 tons of explosives have been dropped on Gaza. Gaza has an area of 141 square miles, approximately equal to the area of the city of Detroit. 25,000 tons of bombs, the equivalent of 2 atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima. This monstrous crime is being carried out before the eyes of the entire world. Its perpetrators include not only the Netanyahu government and the fascists that comprise it, but the Biden administration and all the governments of the U.S.-NATO axis. We are here, we indict Biden for war crimes. The Biden administration has rejected a ceasefire. It has declared that there are no red lines for Israel's actions. It has said that it is placing no conditions on Israel's use of American weaponry.
It's total blood on his hands.
Blood on Biden's hands. The Al-Ahli Arab hospital is bombed, killing 500, and Biden runs to Tel Aviv to shake Netanyahu's hand. Tomorrow, in the wake of the bombing of Jabalia, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is traveling to Israel to declare the United States full support. If there are to be prosecutions for war crimes, and there must be, there must be for violations of international law, Biden and Blinken, along with Sunak in the UK, Macron in France, Schultz in Germany, Meloni in Italy, and all the leaders of the U.S.-NATO axis must stand in the dock next to Netanyahu.
Put him in the dock!
Let this be the end for all time of any talk that the American military anywhere in the world is acting to promote human rights and defending democracy. These are lies. For 3 decades, American imperialism has waged one war after the next. Yugoslavia, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, all justified on the basis of lies. Now the U.S.-NATO proxy war against Russia and Ukraine and the war in Gaza are 2 elements of an expanding world war. This is not just a conflict between nation states, as the genocide demonstrates. It is a war against all opposition to unrestrained imperialist domination. Now, workers and youth are not standing by as this is happening. Throughout the world, in country after country, millions have protested, coming to the streets of all races, ethnicities, nationalities, religions, to denounce this genocide. Many Jewish people have participated, denouncing the Netanyahu government and rejecting the foul slander that opposing Israel's genocide is anti-Semitic. Those who are gathered here today speak for millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, all around the world who are opposed to Israel's actions and the broader imperialist war of which it is part. Protests like this must be held in every single city and every college campus in every country of the world. But we must understand that we are fighting not only the Netanyahu government, but American imperialism, the U.S.-NATO axis. We are fighting against a capitalist ruling elite that is waging war here at home as it wages war abroad.
That's right.
The American government is controlled by two parties, which both represent the interests of the rich. The Republicans are controlled by fascists under the leadership of Trump, who tried to overthrow the Constitution in a coup. But the Democratic Party is prosecuting this war. The Biden administration is supporting this genocide. All those who insisted that it is necessary to support the Democratic Party as the lesser evil, all those who claimed that the Democratic Party could be reformed, stand exposed. The lesser evil is an accomplice to slaughter and genocide right now.
Right. Right.
Enough's enough.
Our aim must not be to pressure the perpetrators and accomplices of genocide, the capitalist states of the U.S.-NATO axis. We must instead turn to the working class, that social force that produces all of society's wealth. The war is a war on the working class, and it is the working class that must lead the fight against it. This includes the workers in Israel and throughout the Middle East. The atrocity in Gaza exposes the bankruptcy of the fictitious two-state solution. It proves, if there was ever any doubt, that the existence of an apartheid state is only possible on the basis of genocide. The interests of Arab workers and the interests of Jewish workers can be secured only through the dissolution of the existing state of Israel and its replacement by a multinational state with full democratic and social rights for everyone, for Jews and Arabs, as part of the Socialist Federation of the Middle East. Now, I'll conclude with this. The ruling class is fearful. The level of the lies corresponds with the level of the fear. They resort to propaganda and repression, including the outrageous allegations of anti-Semitism from people supporting Nazis in Ukraine, because they know that the masses of the world's population, the working class, is against their criminal actions.
That's right.
But this opposition must be mobilized and politically directed. The Socialist Equality Party, the International Youth and Students for Social Equality support working class action to stop the shipment of any items to Israel that could be of any conceivable use. The call of the Palestinian trade unions must be supported by workers all over the world. The massive social power of the international working class must be mobilized in a political general strike to shut down production and stop this genocide. The IYSSE urges all of you here to organize delegations, to go to the factories, to go to the workplaces, to go to the high schools, to connect the fight against Israel's genocide to the developing struggles of workers all over the world against inequality and exploitation.
That's right.
Turn out to the auto workers who are fighting against the efforts to impose a new reign of increased exploitation. What we are witnessing in Gaza is imperialist and capitalist barbarism in its most brutal form. It can only be stopped through the movement of masses of workers throughout the world.
That's right.
No to imperialist war. Break with the Democrats and Republicans. End inequality and capitalist exploitation. For social equality and for socialism. Stop the genocide in Gaza. Mobilize the working class.
Yeah.